From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Lawyers are expected to begin their final submissions today in the sexual assault trial of Canadian auto parts tycoon Frank Stronach. Two Peel Region police officers who led the investigation were the defense's last witnesses and wrapped up their testimony earlier this month to close out the evidence. The 93-year-old billionaire has pleaded not guilty to 12 charges related to alleged incidents against 7 complainants dating back decades. Over the course of Stronach's Toronto trial, prosecutors have dropped 5 charges related to 3 of the complainants. U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening to deploy ground troops to seize critical oil infrastructure on Iran's Karg Island. Trump has said he could hobble Iran's oil industry and attack power plants if that country doesn't reach a deal to end the conflict. Meanwhile, Iran has maintained its chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz, closing off the vital channel for global energy shipments and sending oil prices soaring. Average gas prices in the U.S. now top $4 a gallon. Here's ABC's Lionel Moise.
Oil prices have now topped $100 a barrel for the first time in 4 years, and companies from delivery services to airlines are raising prices. JetBlue is now increasing checked baggage fees. This is just days after United said airfare could jump 20%.
The federal government is set to extend its cap on an annual alcohol tax increase for another 2 years in a bid to rein in costs facing Canada's brewers, wineries, and distilleries. Here's some details from Canadian Press reporter Naira Ahmed.
A government official not authorized to speak about the announcement before it's made public told the Canadian Press that Ottawa is set to renew the cap through to 2028. Excise taxes on booze had faced annual increases pegged to inflation on April 1st of each year, but the Liberal government temporarily capped those hikes at 2% since 2023.
Unless efforts are taken to fight climate change, researchers at the University of Waterloo say North American air quality could deteriorate by the end of the century. The study, focusing on the U.S., suggests without climate action, and by the year 2100, 1 in 3 Americans could be breathing summer air considered unhealthy for sensitive groups. That would be a 7-fold increase compared to the turn of this century. The study suggested young children, the elderly, and other sensitive groups could be alerted to stay inside on average every other summer day. And Canada will learn today which country our national men's soccer team will face first to open the FIFA World Cup in Toronto this spring. The winner of this afternoon's playoff game between Italy and Bosnia and Herzegovina will join Canada, Qatar, and Switzerland in Group B at the tournament. That means they'll be facing co-host Canada in Toronto on June 12th. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Toronto Blue Jays' 3-game win streak to start the season is over. The visiting Colorado Rockies whipped the Jays 14-5. The Jays also lost new $30 million starter Cody Ponce to injury in the 3rd inning. Manager John Schneider says Ponce was doing well in his Toronto debut before he got hurt.
There was a lot of swing and miss, against a really aggressive swinging team tonight. So, yeah, we liked what we saw.
Ponce had an MRI on his knee after the game, and results are expected today. Brad Treliving has been fired after 3 years as the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And shortly after that news, the Leafs beat the Anaheim Ducks 5-4 in overtime, and league-leading Colorado crushed the Calgary Flames 9-2. The Toronto Raptors had the night off, but they'll pick things up in Detroit tonight for a game against the Eastern Conference leading Pistons. The Pistons are coming off an overtime loss last night to the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.